Now we've got front and rear, same time, just front, rear. That is pretty cool. Hey everyone, so check this out from HANSSHOW. Brand new rear view and front view streaming mirror. Look at this. Not only is this a digital rear view camera mirror, front view. And not just front view, it records, okay? This is a dash cam too, recording front and rear. 1080p, both cameras. Check this out. Check that out. This is pretty stinking cool. So I'm gonna go through a bunch of the features this thing has. You know it's gonna work well in the daytime. I take it out in the evening, sunset, nighttime, and see how well it works. Not perfect, but pretty good, pretty good. Go through a full install. Yeah, the install is involved, but it's not crazy. I've done much worse, that's for sure. And the install that they show you, yeah, you're definitely gonna want to watch my video, because that one, you couldn't even install it the way they show it. Not only is it just for Model 3, but it wouldn't even work for the Model 3. So I'm not sure what that is. It must have been an older version of the mirror. But yeah, this video is definitely going to show you everything. I give you tips. I show you pretty much what I think is the easiest way to install it, pulling less panels apart and everything like that. Everything, all the cables kind of tuck in. It's not bad, all right? I'm telling you, it's not that bad. It will take you some time, but it is not that bad. And hey, if you're in the Chicagoland area, you know, DM me, find me on Instagram. You'll see all my stuff down below. I can help you out. This is maybe the third mirror that I have tested, and this one is by far the best one. You get a lot, especially for the money. This is not that expensive. And you want to save even more money? Do not forget to use my discount code TeslaMark. It saves you the most amount of money, and it works at all the best places. So we're going to do an unboxing. Again, full install, all the tips, everything that you need, and then we take it out, show you what it can do. All right, let's get going. All right, we've got the 1-year warranty. We've got some install videos here, which you won't need because you got me. All right, let's take a look at some of the cabling we've got here. So here we are going to tap into the CAN bus to get some signal and power. Fuse, okay, nice. And yeah, this is going to provide all the signal to the rear view mirror. Okay, here we've got some camera cabling. And then we've got a couple cameras here. I don't know which is front and rear camera, but we do have 2 of them. I got a feeling this one is the front. They usually give you a lot more adjustability with it. And then this one is the rear camera. This one feels surprisingly beefy. And then the mirror is kind of tied in here. All right, so the mirror, we've got some protective coating on there, which we are going to leave on until we're done with the install. All right, and as you can see, when it is off, because it's obviously off right now, it is a pretty good mirror. It's probably not going to be quite as good as a real mirror, but this is pretty good. So if, you know, something fails with the electronics or whatever, we've still got the ability to use it as a normal mirror. That is a good thing. And then our plugs here, right? The 2 different cameras and then the signals from the computer. Okay, good, good. All right, a couple little mini screws probably for the camera. And then, what is this? Oh, these look like mounts. Oh no, this is for the rear view mirror. We'll get into that. Okay, so install is going to be a little involved just because we're going to be running wires everywhere. You know, we've got to run not just the signal cable, we got to run cabling for the 2 cameras, and then mount the mirror. So it's not complicated, but yeah, it's going to be some work here. Well worth it though. All right, let's get started. I'm taking this off, which you just kind of squeeze it a little bit and yank on it. Okay. All right, now the mirror should just twist off. Okay, which it did. And then push that little tab in there, unplug it. Now we've got to remove this. Okay, try and pry this off. Okay, sounded worse than it was. Wow, look at all that. All right, so now we have to take this bracket off of the old mirror. And put it on this. You can see that fits on only one way there. There's a little key. Okay. All right, and then this only fits on this mirror one way. Of course, I was trying to do it the other way. Oh, this is a T15 Torx, by the way. Okay. Done with that. All right, so something I want to do before we actually put the mirror up and install it is to test it out, because why go through the whole install, find out it's not working. All right, so this is the unused port here. Yours might be used. Either way, we you know, just kind of access it. Here we've got this plug, so we take this one out. Okay, here we've got the mirror, so let's plug this guy in here. Okay, the camera plugs are different, luckily. So plug these in, and then I am going to power the car back up and see if this thing turns on. All right. Okay, don't have a memory card in there. Hey, all right. So this is the rear camera. Okay, yeah, and front camera. So, all right, they work. Okay, we have to take the wires and run them through here first. Okay, I think that's all lined up. Okay, like I said, we're not going to do anything with that connection, so just leave that up there. It's easier if you tilt this mirror down just to kind of get the angle correct. Once the angle's correct, this turns right in. Pop this guy back in place. All right. Okay, let's get this back in there. Okay. Ignore this. This is to my radar detector. If I've got a whole other video on this, if you want to like hardline power to your radar detector, check that video out. But the power wire to the camera, then we've got that plugged in down there, and we are going to run this up here, go behind this panel here, and run it into here, and actually we are going to just, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking this through as we go. I'm going to plug this in here, start tucking this in, and go this way. That way, all this excess cable we can tuck down in the footwell. Front camera gets mounted here, so very simple. Rear camera, though, the cable, we are going to run also same place through here. We're going to run the same area as this cable here, and then we're going to go back here and run all the way to the back of the car. So that is the plan. This molding here just pulls down. There's no adhesive on there or anything. It's the molding that goes all the way around here, so no big deal there. And pull this out here, and probably easier to pull more of this out, but you might not have to. All right, I think I just lost some footage, but either way, we've got two different cables here. One is for the power and signal that is going to the footwell down here, and the other is for the rear camera. And what I have done is you know, pulled these down a little bit, didn't need to like completely detach it. And if you see, this is an airbag, and you do not want to put any cables or anything on this side of the airbag, because if the airbag does need to deploy, it could hinder it from deploying. So you want to stay on this side of the airbag, and there is a nice, you know, when you pull this down a little bit, pull this here, you can, it's hard to get the right angle in, but you see there's just a nice gap to just push a wire through, get it through here on the other side. And now I'm going to tuck them in, got them plugged in here together, and then we are going to run the rear camera back around through there. All right, so pull the molding down here. I think it's attached in here and in here, so took this molding down, but you know, can't pull it completely out of there. Doesn't matter, because we can easily get a, like, you know, I've got this wire that I use for fishing other wires, and that comes out here. So I think I'm going to just pull the cable through here. Another way though, I think this, if you pull this little panel off here, I think this unscrews and this just kind of pops out, no problem. Not 100% sure, haven't done it. This way just seemed real easy. So I'm going to do this way first, and then we're going to run it down here, and then get to the back real easy. When I am not sure exactly how much clearance I have, and I don't think I have a lot of clearance in this area here, I basically tape this together like tip to tip, if you see. So I didn't like overlap it on top of the wire and tape it together. Instead I have it, you know, I didn't tape it like this. I taped it like this. So anyway, a little tip to tip just to pull it through, and this way there is less chance of it getting hung up on anything. So anyway, I'm going to get these moldings back on, and then we're going to get to running it back down through here. Okay, this just comes out. We can tuck this again into the molding there. No problem. We're going to run it behind here all the way to the back. We can feed this through here and pick it up there. And then just kind of drop it in all the way back. And just see that you understand how this goes back in. Like, these have to kind of drop down, and then you know, this one just kind of pushes straight in. So when you put this back in, you kind of know what you're doing. Make sure that the cable that you ran isn't in the way of any of those clips or anything, because you don't want to, you know, ruin the cable that you just put through there. You can see I ran this fish line right through there, and there's a hole right there, and let me show you where that goes. Pull this down a little bit, and right there. So now I'm going to tie that to this end here and pull it through. All right, so took a shortcut here. I didn't run the wire through the grommet. I just kind of pulled it through there, pushed the grommet back in, and as you can see, just zip tied it up here. And then I got something else going on, so this cover was already off. I'll show how to take that off, though it's really easy. But this is going to just be zip tied here, and then you'll see a little bit of the wire, and then it'll be covered up with the, you know, with the cover that goes here. I will show, however, that this can be taken off here, and you can run a fish line through here and pull the wire through. Again, I'm slacking, taking a shortcut and doing it this way, but I just wanted to show an alternative, a quick, easy method. I've done something like this before on my other Model 3, and it's really not an issue. Nothing gets in the way here at all. So now we need to drop this down a little bit so we can get the camera wire to go through here. Camera is going to be mounted, they show it mounting like pretty much right on top of this light. I'm gonna see, maybe I'll mount it here so it'll just be a little bit over this light. Could potentially mount it over here. Would rather have it more towards the middle. I don't know, I'm gonna see though. So I'm gonna squeeze these tabs in a little bit and push this out so that again we can get the cable through there. So I had to remove my license plate in order to get this down far enough in order to get this in, and just gonna push this through here. All right, and then I'm going to mount it mostly on this piece here and kind of pull a little slack on the wire and then push this in as far as it's going to go. And then we still have a little bit of adjustment on here. Actually, yeah, I'm probably going to need to bring this up a little bit so that I have clearance for the license plate. So I might put the license plate on first, just to make sure that I have all the clearance that I need. I guess it could also be mounted on the light. Obviously, you're going to be covering up your license plate light, though, one of them anyway. So yeah, I'm probably going to put it here. All right, so I'm really glad that this happened because I have this tollway sticker thing here. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it here. Anyway, I wasn't sure where I was going to put this camera. So I just literally used some different tape aside from this to just kind of temporarily put this on there, make the video, etc. And then worry about putting it on permanently later. But I'm really glad that I did, because putting it here, and I don't want to move the camera a lot, but like, for example, I thought this would be an ideal spot, but it's not, because this shows up in the camera view. So, you know, I'm experimenting with moving it around in different places, and I think everybody should do this and just kind of temporarily tape it up and see how you like the view, see if you like where you like the camera, because everything is just kind of different. The view is different, whether or not this camera is in your eyesight or not, it might bother you. So I advise just kind of temporarily taping this camera up and seeing if you like it in that spot before you permanently, or you know, semi-permanently mount it here with the tape. And so far, I think this spot might work the best. I kind of like this because I'm not in the driver's seat right now, but from the driver's seat, I don't know if I'm going to be able to see this thing too much, so it's not going to be like in my eye view annoying me. This seems like a good spot too, although I might see it more when I'm driving. Not positive though, because again, I'm playing around with this in the passenger seat. But for now, I think I'm going to put it here. I'm just doing this temporarily, and I advise that you kind of do the same thing. All right, check this thing out. That is some pretty nice video on there. I think that is 1080p. I don't remember if the front and rear camera have the same resolution or not, but check this out. Now we've got front and rear, same time, or just front, rear. Yeah, that is pretty cool. All right, and check this out. So if you don't have your camera adjusted just right, you still have some room here to mess around. So see a little bit what's on the hood, move up, down a little. That is really cool. I like that a lot. And same thing for the back. Can you go left, right? No. Yeah, and this is really responsive too. I guess this is an automatic brightness control, and then we've got the manual setting here. This will mute, unmute the recording of audio. The audio is recording inside the car. This will take pictures for you. This will start the recording, and this will lock the video file when you're recording. When we get out of here, you know, you can play back any of the files that you have. I'm still not sure what this emergency thing does. These are the photographs that you take. Rear view, these are the rear view files. These are the front view files. These are both files, I believe, front and rear. Again, playback of all your different files. Shortcut to format, boot display. So you could automatically start off in front view, rear view, or just have the camera off. Various loop recording, so you could set the loop to 1, 2, 3 minutes. Auto switch to rear view, so if you have it in front view, no matter where you put it in front view, after a certain amount of time, it will automatically go back to rear view if you want it that way. Again, sound recording, on, off. Time-lapse recording, again, not positive how that works. Firmware, system updates. Yeah, so system update you could get online. So yeah, that's it. Otherwise, you know, I think most people are just going to keep it in this mode because, you know, here you've got basically whatever you need. You need to snap a picture real quick. You need to turn the recording on or off, so you've got your dash cam recording. That is pretty cool. So yeah, it's after sunset, and you know, it's a pretty cloudy day. So I'm just going to leave it on the rear view because, you know, rear view camera. I did put in a card, a micro SD card, so we are recording. So see that little red light blinking? That says we are recording. So we'll review that footage later. Man, that is a really nice view of the back. I mean, way better than you get with the camera off. I mean, way better than you get with the mirror. Although we're getting a lot of ringing around those headlights. I think that's what they call it. That's not great. I wonder if we can adjust for that. I'll check when we stop. Yeah, this is really just the screen brightness. I didn't see it make any adjustments for the actual camera to get rid of that headlight ringing. Okay, stop recording. That's kind of neat. Fast forward quickly. Can I swipe to the next one? I guess not. Oh, and it is picking up the audio. So yeah, we do still get that ringing around the headlights, even in the recording, of course. So that is not great. And it is getting darker out. So we'll see if that gets any better or worse. Yeah, I gotta say, this thing is really responsive though. Like, you can jump around in this video really quick. honestly, it's way better than the Tesla system in terms of that. And then the photos we took, let's take a look at those. When you take a picture, it does the front and back. So that's why we have 2 pictures of the front and 2 pictures of the back. And I don't know what emergency is. I think that is, we can set gravity sensing. What I don't know though is this thing going to be powered all the time? You know, the way this car is, some of the things power down, some things do not. Things that sometimes are powered on are sometimes powered on because the 12-volt battery, or 16-volt battery in this case, is charging, so that system is on. But if that battery is not charging, most things are off and we don't have consistent power. So I don't know though if this tapped into something that has consistent power. And then sometimes Tesla will take something that has consistent power and change it so it does not have consistent power. So I'll be interested to see what this does. Let me see here, recording to time lapse. So this, I think when we leave the car, or I don't know if this goes on all the time, it will start doing time-lapse recording. So I'm gonna play around with that a little bit and see what we get from it. But again, I think the biggest issue is going to be that this car is not going to be powered on all the time. And you know, honestly, do you want this thing to be powered on all the time? I don't know, because then you've got something else that is running power. I can't imagine that it's taking up that much power, but you know, the car does have Sentry. Yeah, you know what? This front camera looks a lot better. Okay, yeah, this doesn't seem as bad. This person's probably trying to figure out what I'm doing here, but yeah, there is some ringing there, but it's not as bad as that rear camera. Interesting, this front camera is actually more grainy than the rear. The rear seems to do better with low light than the front camera, but it just has that ringing. Yeah, see how grainy that is? You know, look at the trade-off. So you get this light noise, or ring, I mean, keep calling it ringing, I'm not sure if that's the correct term or not. You get this ringing, but the overall exposure is better with less graininess. Yeah, look at that. That's a bit of a mess. But look at this down here. That's not exactly great either. Now, I'm assuming my camera's dirty. Here you can still see the license plate.